Good morning, it's Karen here.
And Chris.
And welcome to this glorious Monday morning. This is day one of our 5-day reset. So we are going to just give you a little bit of information about what to expect over the next 5 days and also today's little challenge.
So today is going to be mobility and just getting outside, getting some fresh air. And the question is, why are we doing these exercises in this particular order? Well, the name of the game is a reset, and the whole point of reset is just to rewind the clock over the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and to undo some of the bad habits that are taking you away from your goals and getting back into the habits that make you feel generally like you can move a bit better.
And what's really important to stress, this is all about working on habits that you've already got working for you, rather than feeling that you have to implement something completely new. So these mobility exercises that we're going to suggest you do today, if you are already coming to a foot school class during the week, be that Pilates or Chris's PE classes, then you will be doing this mobility work within those classes. So again, it's not something necessarily extra that you have to do. But we suspect, and in fact, we've had lots of conversations with people, two things from the last 2 to 3 weeks. One is you're feeling achy, you feel like you're blaming it on your age, it's cold, things aren't quite moving the way that you want them to. Number 2 is you might still have stuff hanging around the house, be it boxes of chocolates, things that you bought in for guests, and they're just kind of there haunting you and you're not sure how to make it stop.
It's difficult because I understand that we don't want to be wasteful. We almost like we'll have some of these things at some point in the year, but the reality is that will be eaten by you unless you either create some levels of control of having it or get rid of it completely. So you're almost forced into a situation which is only really going to head you down one way: excess consumption and taking you away from the goal which you have, which is to try to get back to those healthy habits which had you feeling a lot better than you do right now.
And we're not immune to this. Same thing happens usually in the summer. You kind of kick off, you kind of relax a little bit, go on your holidays, and then you kind of need something to snap you out of that when you get back. Because, a week of excess and snacking, yeah, that's fine. But a month, and then we're now talking about the 10th of January. I want you to be honest with yourself about when you started kind of like slacking off a little bit. If you did, it's a month really of excess. So we're not here to be mean people. We're here to help you. This is exactly what we're about. So over the next 5 days, we're going to be sharing with you some daily challenges. Again, nothing too massive or radical, but just to help you get to the end of the week and feel like what it's reminding you, what it's like to feel energized again.
There's one thing Karen mentioned earlier about not trying to implement anything too new and radical. It is imperative, as this time of the year is the big detox, big diet changes. It's the CrossFit, it's the boot camps. We're drawn into swinging so far hard the other way that the temptation for you will be to do that yourself, which is unrealistic because if you haven't done it before, it's highly likely you'll do it now. But B, when your friends around you are either at home or in the office environment, if we're going to work that is in the offices, will be saying, oh, I've tried this new diet, I've tried this new soup, I've tried this new tea, tried this new workout. We're here to insulate you against all that nonsense because we've been doing this over 20 years now, and we can tell you right now, there's a big burst of energy at the start, maybe 2-3 weeks, and all those people who were talking a lot about the changes they're going to make end up quitting. So don't fall into that trap of feeling you've got to do more or keep up with the Joneses or the Sues or the Allisons or whoever they are in the office. It isn't about that. It is about drawing on all the good habits you've done previously and just getting back to doing them.
So you can feel, rather than having to shout about what you're doing, you're kind of quietly getting on with what you know works for you, and you're quite comfortable with that. And yes, you're challenging yourself every day, but it doesn't have to be something that's big and showy and sweaty. So, shall we crack on with day one?
We are going to crack on with day one. As I mentioned earlier, it is about getting yourself moving through mobility and getting some fresh air outside. Now, mobility is just simply about getting your joints and your muscles ready for movement. It's not about actual exercise, even though you can combine the two, is what we do in some of our classes. It's just about getting your joints from your toes up to your neck ready for some movement. The fresh air part of it is actually how your body detoxifies. So when you hear about all these detoxification diets and teas and pills and drugs, the best way to detoxify is get outside, get some fresh air. It is free. And also getting away from your environment either be at home or your home/work/workout/creche/playground environment, having some delineation between that, so you come back and you've had that mental kind of break from the environment.
And there's a lot to be said for being very intentional about doing that, whether it's telling other people that you live with that that's your time, that you're going out to do this, which is obviously the benefit of having a class in your schedule as well. But when it comes to getting outside and green space, it's making that intentional. So perhaps going half an hour earlier for the school run so you can go for a walk. Perhaps it's calling on a friend and saying, look, I really need to get out for some fresh air. Do you fancy a chat? That kind of thing. Something that fits into your day that doesn't require a massive amount of organisation, but it's you getting out in the fresh air. So that's the second challenge for the day. It's the mobility and it's the fresh air. And the other thing that's really important to say about getting outside is how important it is for this up here. So there's a lot of evidence out there that suggests that going out in green space not only helps you with your stress levels, but also helps in terms of your cell repair. So really important to get outside, and also it gives you nice fresh rosy cheeks as well.
And what's really, really important to just at the back of your mind to be aware of is, again, if you are outside and you're calling your friend, or you think after you've been to the school run or you get home from work and you've got a bit of time for your lunch break or hour, that you want to go out and do half an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, just keep it in small chunks. Keep yourself wanting to go back and do that. Otherwise, once you do a large chunk now when the motivation is high, once the motivation dips, you will not want to go back and do that half an hour or 45-minute or hour block of exercise. And at that point, you will then only have a matter of days before you then throw in the towel. Whereas if you go out and do 5 or 10 minutes and really you'd rather have done 20, you always know that if you go back to it, you could have done more. So it's never a challenge. Remember, this is about habit changing and getting some of the habits back, and also helping to motivate you to do what you know works. It's not about being that, shouty or just a person who broadcasts about how much exercise you're doing. It's not. It's about building one step at a time. So after your 5th day, you have a complete plan, rather than day 1, 2, 3 go hard and day 4 and 5 do nothing. That's not what we want for you at all.
And so 3 things for you today in summary. Number 1, the mobility session that Chris is going to share with you. Number 2, get outside and get some fresh air. And number 3, which we haven't talked about, but number 3 is just go through all of the snacky garbage that's in your cupboards and just lose it. Whether that means putting it in a box and locking it up and hiding it somewhere, or whether that means donating it to another worthy cause or coffee morning so that it's out of your hair. But just do that for us, please.
Excellent. And so there we go. Give it a try, and we shall see you for mobility
Bright and early tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.